How do you go from an athlete that nobody wants to an athlete that everybody's vying for? How do you go from a person who's undesirable to a person who inks a 3-year, $50 million deal? I don't know, but let's find out after this.
I love Brotha T.
Hello, how you doing? This is Terrion Wilson, aka yo boy Brotha T, here with another one. And I'd like to thank you. Welcome to the New Life Tree, where we like to give you little pine cones of wisdom for your mental health. If you don't know what that is, stick around, stay on the channel. You'll get it. And to my friends in Turkey, merhaba, ben Terrion, minimum oldum. Alright, so let's get into it today. Today we're going to talk about Christian Wood. Who is Christian Wood? Christian Wood is an NBA player, you know, and actually he is pretty cool now. He's pretty decent player. So we're going to start this story at UNLV, where he was quite a dynamic player. He did great things on the court, and for him to be the size he was, he could do a lot of things. He could move very well. He could do things that other guys his size had problems doing. But what was the knock on Christian? The knock was that he didn't always take practice seriously. He didn't always seem like he was locked in on the goal of becoming better. You know, day after day, practice after practice, game after game. At times, you have to be careful, and this is for the people out there that walk around with a lot of talent, right? And a lot of skill. I don't want you to take it for granted that you are good at these things. I don't want you to take it for granted that you have honed your skills. Always be grateful and always be thankful that you are able to do things at a high level when you get there. Because if you don't, people will notice. What did they notice about Christian? They know, hey man, he's not taking this seriously. He's coming in, he's not really listening, he's not really doing this and that. And you have to remember, especially in athletics, that this is a fraternity of sorts, especially with coaches. Coaches talk to each other. They call each other. Hey, I'm thinking about drafting your guy. Tell me about him. And if you are a lazy good for nothing, you barely want to get up and go to practice because you think you're better than everybody already, what's going to happen? They're going to tell them, unless they really like you and they're willing to lie for you, they're going to say, yeah, you know, sometimes we have to motivate them and we have to do these extra things and get them. The other coach hears this, and you realize in the NBA, these guys are getting paid millions upon millions. Now, even though to the layperson looking at the screen, some players don't seem like they're good enough to make that much money to us. That's because they're playing against the best, right? They can kill us any day at whatever they're playing. But you have to understand that these teams aren't ready to just blow and give away millions of dollars for somebody that's not going to take it seriously. So this word got around. These teams, the word got around. So he was projected to go at a certain spot in the NBA draft. He sat around, he brung all his family, he brung all his friends, he brung his girlfriend, right? He was ready to be announced as a player in the NBA for one of these teams. He waited, then he waited, and he waited, and he waited. At the end of the draft, nobody drafted Christian Wood, which brought about one of the most famous pictures in NBA draft history. How can things get worse for him? They got worse. How did they get worse? Your lifelong dream just slipped out of your hands because you didn't want to put the work into it, because you didn't want to make the right impression. Sometimes it's not always what you do. Sometimes it's who you know. So if you have coaches you're pissing off, if you have these people you're pissing off, sometimes that'll come around. You don't want to get a bad reputation, especially in arenas like athletics or entertainment too, is the same way. What happened after that to make things worse? So on top of losing your lifelong dream, now you lose your girlfriend who you thought was there for you. Obviously, she was there for the NBA money and the status and the lifestyle. Actually, even though you could say that it got worse, you know, depending on your perspective of the situation, you could say it got better, because if that was the only reason why she was there, you want to get her out of your life. And let that be a lesson to some of you guys out there, right? So if you show promise, if you show all this potential to be a high earner, I want you to get people around you who you know are there for you. Sometimes you can do this by testing them, right? You might even tell them that, hey, you know, something happened. We might not get that deal, and see how they react. You'll know what they're there for, right? This is why I have so much respect for LeBron James and his wife, Savannah. You can say what you want about whatever's going on with whatever, but he had her before the deal, right? And obviously she wasn't just there for the money, because you could tell the way they interact, the way they are around each other. If you watch some of their social media, it looked like they really like each other. That's what I'm talking about, family. So he played in the G League with Delaware. He got on with the Sixers. He finally got in the league. Still struggling a little bit to stay in the league. Sometimes it's hard, especially when you get certain reputations. You have to break those reputations. The only way you can break those reputations is to show people that you're not that anymore. And it's hard to show people that you're not lazy anymore, right? You can only show that in a prolonged period of time. You can't do that in a prolonged period of time if you don't get that time. Does that make sense? So if you don't get enough time to show people you're not lazy, they're going to still think you're lazy. So he just worked and he worked and he worked. So he went from team to team a little bit. He went from the Philadelphia 76ers. Then he played for the Charlotte Hornets. He played for the Milwaukee Bucks. Then he played for the New Orleans Pelicans. This is quite interesting part of the story, because the New Orleans Pelicans at the time, they had a player named Anthony Davis, who's a very good player in the league. He was their best player. He's one of the top players in the league at that moment. He had a devastating injury. So this gave Christian Wood an opportunity to fill in for him. What did he do, family? He finally got a chance and finally got enough time to show people he wasn't lazy anymore, that he was taking it seriously. And he started playing out of his mind because he finally got that opportunity to show people what he could really do. He got in there, he started playing good. He started playing great. He filled in for him, right? And he went from the New Orleans Pelicans to the Detroit Pistons. My Detroit Pistons. That's right. My Detroit Pistons, the bad boys, the going to work Pistons. Oh, I was going down memory lane. I'm sorry. I took a left. All right. So he came to the Detroit Pistons and had, I think, you know, his breakout here. Even though he played good in New Orleans, he really got a chance to play here. And he broke out here, which made him valuable. He went from a player nobody wanted, that they were running away from him. You call up and say, hey, I'm Christian Wood's agent. Hello? They went from that to the calls were coming to him, right? He became valuable. People wanted to trade for him. After being on the Pistons, I'm not sure if he got traded or he was a free agent, but he ended up with the Houston Rockets. At Houston, he continued his great play. And that's where he had the opportunity to ink a 3-year, $53 million deal. I want you to take a second for all you regular people out there. I want you to grab a pen and a paper. I want you to write down, this is very easy, write down 3 years. And then I want you to write 53 million dollars and break that. Divided by 3.
Oh my God, you got money.
That's a lot of money. We all know that he didn't get $53 million in his pocket necessarily, but that's a lot of money. Even after taxes eats it up, right? That's pretty good. That's a pretty nice paycheck for somebody that didn't even get drafted. So now, after a nice stint with the Rockets, he's now on the Dallas Mavericks, and they have a chance to make some noise, right? We'll see what they can do. They have him, they have Kyrie Irving, they have, of course, Doncic. So let's see what they do. But the point is made that if something happens to you and it's devastating, it's not what you want to happen, it's not what you dreamed of, that does not mean you can't get back up. If you have a dream, if you have a goal, if you have a purpose, do not stay down for long. We all get knocked down, right? Money Mayweather, he's the best boxer in boxing history, in my opinion. Yes, I said it, the best in history, right? Because he never lost. If he had a loss, I wouldn't say that. I know you're gonna say Muhammad Ali. I know you're gonna say Tyson. I'm sorry. To me, it's my opinion. But even he got knocked down before. He didn't get knocked out, obviously, right? If he's undefeated. But he got knocked down. What did he do? He got back up. He won. Kept winning after that. So what I want you to do, if you're in a position where you lose your opportunity, it's not the end of the world. If you're still breathing and you're still healthy, you can make it to where you're trying to make it. Now, the road might be a little bit bumpier, right? When he didn't get drafted, the road got bumpy. What did he do? He went and put the bike up and he grabbed a big monster truck and he started driving over the bumpy road. That's what he did. In other words, what I'm saying, he adjusted to the situation. He made himself better, right? Then he went in and he took it seriously and he proved to countless teams in the NBA that he was taking it seriously. Congratulations to Christian Wood. Great story. That girlfriend, I don't know where she is right now. I don't know who she's with right now, but I almost guarantee her boyfriend didn't ink a $53 million over 3-year deal. The odds is he's not that. So we'll say Christian won that one and you dodged the bullet. This is your man, Terry Wilson, aka Brotha T. Thank you for coming to the show, and I'll catch you on the next one, family. Peace.